Dr. Rick. Hoping that you are having a great week. Hope things are working out for you in your personal endeavors. As I always say, if things aren't going the way that you're going, if you're still breathing, going the way you would like them to go, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. So don't give up. I'm going to be as succinct as I possibly can for a number of reasons. I need to. Plus, I don't want to overload you. I want to kind of keep it short. Before I do, we are moving into a fundraising boost weekend. This is always a struggle for me personally, and it's always a challenge for the organization. But I'm challenging everybody. We're going hard this weekend, whether we hit the goal or not. So get ready. We need your support. So look in the description box. I need my warriors to show up for me. If you believe in the work we're doing, if you believe it's necessary, if you want to be a part of change and putting some boots on the ground, some energy, some effort, some real programs, some things that work beyond the optics, beyond the pretension, some real situational engagement, then we need your support. This isn't a time to pass it on, to pass the buck and say somebody will do it, somebody will help. Let's make it happen. We have a real simple and reasonable and reachable goal. Whether we hit it or not, again, it's going to be up to you. The goal this weekend is $10,000. I know we can do it. Whether we do it, another story, but I'm going to challenge us throughout this weekend to do it. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk optics. I think one of the biggest problems we have in our community is we are very caught up in the optics, the appearance, the presentation, and we often lose because we go for the shiny thing. Something my grandmother used to always tell me, and I'm pretty sure you've heard it too: son, everything that glitters ain't gold. And I'm telling you, as a person who's pursued different versions of gold, or the gold, so to speak, throughout the course of my life, I've learned that rarely is the shiny thing the real thing. Sometimes it's just so brilliant that it is as valuable as its appearance presents itself. But most of the time, the things that are valuable are hidden behind things that aren't readily or aesthetically appealing or attractive. And we lose ourselves looking for the shiny thing. We lose ourselves, or we are easily manipulated with people who know what to present us with. We see that with the nonprofit industrial complex, how they parade all of these programs in front of us and put these real nice presentations and commercials and videos and imagery together. And look what they're doing. They're doing this, and they get our support, they get our money, they get everything, and we look up and we're worse off than when we started. Some of it has been extremely blatant, like Black Men Lead. I mean, not Black Men Lead, like Black Lives Matter. Black Men Lead is really on my mind right now. For those of you who don't know, that's a passion of mine that deals with African American adolescent and young adult male violence. And it's not a part of the nonprofit industrial complex. I fund that. There are some people who come along and have given over the course of time, but over 95% of what we do comes directly out of my pocket. I fund it. I'm the one that goes out and does it. With that being said, the reasons on my mind, for those of you who hadn't heard, we had some new neighbors move in, and these neighbors came from the inner city, obviously. Didn't take long. And brought heat with them. So within 3 weeks of being there, my 15-year-old neighbor, one of the ones that just moved in, was shot. His brother was grazed with a bullet, but was treated at the scene. My truck was shot up. I had to get windows replaced. And, you know, I've been a little off since. And it's a number of different things. It's, you know, just how I move through it. You know, people are commending me for it, but to me it's scary that I wasn't shook in the sense of nerve-wise. I was shook. My heart was broken, but I wasn't shaken or jittery or anything. I've been through it too many times. I've seen it too many times. I've been in the middle of it too many times. It's going on for too long. It's time for it to stop. But I'm gonna get back to that. But anyway, I was trying to say Black Lives Matter. They came in, they didn't just get the bag. They disrupted one of the most authentic and genuine movements of our generation, if not the most authentic and genuine movement of our generation in Ferguson, behind the death of Mike Brown. It was organized, it was focused, we were making a point, we had a purpose, we were challenging the status quo and the authority figures in ways that it hadn't been done. This wasn't simply a riot tearing up and burning up stuff. It had motion, it had movement, it had purpose, it had direction. And they sent in these actors, they sent in these organizations, they sent in these people who pretended to be a part of us and diluted the power, the force, and the focus, and basically turned around and basically changed history. We lost Darren Seals in the middle of that. We lost about 6 other brothers who were bringing it truth to power and calling it out for what it really and truly was. And now that part of the St. Louis, Ferguson era is far worse than it was when all that jumped off. A bunch of people built political careers, but we saw nothing. We saw Black Lives Matter bounce with about 100 mil. They buying houses and stuff, not nothing to show for it outside of that. While the real true soldiers are boots on the ground trying to scrape and make it happen. That's on us. That's not it. I mean, United Way, Red Cross, those are the big boys that do it every year, have billion-dollar budgets with salaries up to $1 million and so much more in quote-unquote administrative fees and costs, to the fact that what they're actually supposed to be pouring into is getting a fraction of it. And even the fraction that it's getting is going to systems that don't work. It's a beautiful thing how they purposely pour millions of dollars into programs they know won't work, because they've done the same research I've done. They know what is necessary. They know all the essential elements and components of socialization. They know all the essential elements and components of changing focus and mindset when it comes to poverty and financial literacy and awareness and all of these other things. They understand that. So they know that you can make it look real good, but if you pull that one little linchpin out, it won't work, but we'll pump money into it. And what does it say? It gives us a constant go-to for raising money, which will predominantly come out of the very community that needs it so desperately, but also give an image that no matter how much money you pump into it, you can't help them because they're incorrigible. You can't help them because they're simply like that. It's too late for them. They're never going to change. And we finance it because we like the shiny thing. We like the big symbol. We want the logo. We want it all. And the problem is that's not where it's going to happen. That's not how it's going to come together. It's going to come together with grind and grit. It's not going to look good. The people that you're going to look at are going to come across as rough sometimes. Come across, like me, you probably rarely are going to see me in a suit. But my mind is extremely sharp. My mind is extremely focused. My mind has been committed to the solutions for my people for decades. And it's committed and it's produced unbelievable work. But if you look at me and say, well, he got this, he's got these tattoos and all this other stuff, and he wears earrings, and how can he be a scholar? How can he be have a doctorate in anything? It's because the imagery they gave you told you what to look for, and they just present it to you. And you see the guy in the suit and you believe he's for you. You see the guy in the suit and you think, hey, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I want. This is the kind of person I'm gonna give. And they're taking you to the bank, or they're leading you down a dark path of destruction, or they're just setting you on a direction where your efforts are gonna be fruitless. They've been doing that for years. They've been doing that long before the civil rights movement, and they did it a lot in the civil rights movement, and it worked so well. They've done it all the way up through the years. They put people in there that you think are working for you, and they're misguiding you, and you're constantly going hard in the paint, and you look it up, and 10 years later you're worse off, and you get frustrated, and you're asking yourself, what can I do? How can I do it? What's going wrong? Maybe we are just screwed. Maybe this is just our lot in life. Maybe all this stuff because the optics were right, but underneath the surface there was no substance. It's time to look beyond the optics. It's time to get engaged and involved in real hard, dirty work. And a lot of the people that you're going to look at that are really fighting for us will look a little dirty, will look a little off, won't fit, because you know why? The system created the image, and we're not part of the system. We don't flow like the system. We don't think like the system. We don't behave like the system. We're anti-system in most of the way we move. We operate within boundaries because we want to stay free, but we are serious about how we move and how we function and what we are doing and why we are here. And it's time for us as a people to get that. On that note, look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Try to unwind. It's gonna be a long weekend, like I said. We're trying to raise $10,000 over the course of the weekend. You're going to see a lot of me because I promised my people that I would go hard in the paint on this. Anybody who has followed me knows that's not my strong suit. I'll say it when I get on. And for the longest, I wouldn't even say it, and then I start getting called out on it. So I'm like, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then I've had people tell me, you look like you having teeth pulled when you ask. It's like the worst thing in the world. Maybe you ought to do this. Maybe you ought to just anything, but you actually having to ask because it looks just like you. And I get it. But at the end of the day, it isn't about me. At the end of the day, it's about the people I serve. It's about that kid that got shot last week. It's about the countless ones that end up on my desk. It's about the young cats that haven't even reached their 18th birthday that are already in the system. It's about the teen a couple of months ago who got caught up in a shooting, barely 15. The kid was with the gun that were insinuated circumstances, and I don't believe in throwing anybody away. The kid's life was in jeopardy. He took things into his own hand, probably shouldn't have, but we've learned that we're not doing a good job at protecting them. So he decided to protect himself. Fortunately, nobody died, but I was there and will continue to be there throughout the whole process. Another kid, man, we've gotten him through a whole year. He came off the monitor after a year in June. And he was this close to being gone until his 18th birthday. But he came off the monitor in June. The judge couldn't stop praising him. And here's the thing that blew me up, and I'm gonna try not to be emotional here because it's really hurt. I mean, it really has me emotional. Here's the thing. I worked with him and his pops. His mom is sick. His pops has been there. Pop's trying. This is one of them things where dad is absent. This is one of them things where you get caught up in a situation where everything around you is wrong. Your parents seem like some abstract idea. They don't know what they're talking about. So you get caught up in the game and you buy into this stuff that this is how it is, and you get into it and realize it's not what it was made out to be, but it's too late. You're in the system. Pops was there. But I'm gonna tell you something that just broke me down. when they had the hearing to determine whether they were going to discharge him, take the monitor off, and let him live his life, or if they were going to hold him another year. And there are these periodic evaluations, right? So, there's no bond when you're a juvenile. There's no bond. It's what you call a detention hearing. And then once your case has actually been adjudicated, then it's about reevaluation based on periodic reviews. So, you could say a year of this, a year of that, or whatever, unless it's a real egregious offense. And then if you still try it or go through the process as a juvenile, you will be held until your 18th birthday and then released. Then there are a number of other different things that can happen, but that's primarily it. Well, here's the thing that just really shook me. Then I'm going to get off of here. The judge is just going in praising him for all, because what they do is they have the probation officer read the reports of what's going on since the last hearing, read the evaluations that are done, read all the stuff, how he's been participating in the programs that he's required to attend, how he shows up, what's going on, what does he look like in school, how his grades are going, and the guy's reading all that. And it's a black probation officer, which was sweet as well. So he's reading all that, right? And this is a white female judge, and I have to give her credit. She gives these kids every freaking opportunity to get it together. You gotta really be a screw up not to get it together, but there are kids that don't, because they're really facing some crazy stuff, and it's on us to change that. But anyway, she's praising them. I mean, oh my God, you did this, and you did this, and you did this, you did this. And he starts to smile, and he catches himself, and he straightens up. And she's like, no, it's okay to be okay with this. It's okay to smile. And it's okay to be happy that you're good. It's nothing wrong with this. It's the idea in his mind still that that's lame. To have a white judge telling you you're killing it is lame. It's not the validation from the white judge. It's the fact that you changed, and that even under all of this, they see it. But here's where it really got me. She started to praise the dad. He did the same thing. The idea that I don't have a right to be happy about being better, doing better, raising, and it's a mindset that we've got to get through. So when I wake up every day and I'm going in hard, this is the things that are happening. I've got a real big testimony that hits even closer to home than what happened to me last week. And I'm waiting for it to get settled. But, I come from a big family, so it's always something going on. And so you're not just fighting battles for everyone else, you're fighting to keep your kids safe, your nieces and your nephews safe, your little cousins safe, their kids safe. And, this world is trying to chew them up and spit them out. And in a lot of ways, we're participating in it. It's time up for that. So with that being said, look, I really thank you guys for giving me your time. Show some love, show some support. We are coming hard. I ask you to really, truly step up. It's time. On that note, I'm out of here. Thank you guys. Peace.